analysts are now saying that, this may have just handed the White House to President Donald Trump. Now, the concern is that, there's just not a whole lot that Joe Biden can do at this point. And, especially as critics are saying that Biden's policies have created a mountain of problems for the United States, for the country as a whole. In fact, voters are now voicing their concerns about the economy, inflation, the border crisis, and the list goes on and on and on. Issues that the Biden administration swears up and down, they got it under. Not too many voters agree with him. In fact, the public is watching. And just when you think that things just couldn't get any worse for Joe Biden, Biden falls very suddenly, and it's just not a whole lot that Kamala Harris can do to save him at this point. And, it's not that, it's not just because of his age, but the age is a huge issue. A lot of people have an issue with that, right? Now, we can argue that Donald Trump and Joe Biden, they're not that far apart in terms of age, right? But there's no secret that President Joe Biden he's been struggling more and more whenever he's seen out in the public. In fact, a lot of analysts believe that this is his weakness and that other countries are disrespecting the United States because of Joe Biden just looking like a weak man, falling down constantly, goofing up whatever he is supposed to be saying, speeches, forgetting how to get off of a stage. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I got to ask you guys a real quick question. By the way, if you haven't already, please hit the like button for the video. Totally appreciate you guys. Hope you guys are doing well today. Happy Monday. British Gray, RCX, what's going on? Mildred Dudley, The Awaken. Awesome. Love to see you guys here in the live. Hope you guys are able to see and hear me okay. Oh, Kyle Matthews. Thank you, sir. Loud and clear. Awesome. Nice. Nana's Crochet Corner, Melissa Fountain, Cam Harmon, Jackie Shedder, all these wonderful members. I love you guys. Awesome. Did you guys see this this article today from NBC News? I know how much you guys love NBC News, right? So NBC News said after his historic guilty verdict, Donald Trump is focused on revenge. Can you believe this, guys? Like, I know NBC News doesn't necessarily like Donald Trump, but for them to blatantly lie about him, I mean, Trump was just on Dr. Phil the other day, and Dr. Phil asked Donald Trump, "Hey, are you going to try to seek revenge if you get back into the White House?" And Donald Trump essentially said, no, he's not seeking revenge. Donald Trump said that revenge takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of time. He's only got 4 years if Trump gets back in the White House. He's not going to waste a whole lot of time or even any time trying to get revenge when he's got a laundry list of things that he wants to accomplish. But here you have NBC News saying after his historic guilty verdict, Trump is focused on revenge. That's almost the exact opposite of what he just said on Dr. Phil. And that video probably got millions of views on YouTube alone, not to mention across the nation on TV. So I'm like, man, what are y'all talking about? I don't know if you guys caught that. But what do you guys think? You think that do you think that they mistakenly said that Donald Trump is focused on revenge, or are they literally just trying to lie and put words in Trump's mouth? Anyway, but going back, a lot of analysts, they believe that Biden's weakness has really made other countries just want to disrespect the United States, because our commander in chief is obviously unable to lead us both mentally and physically. And while they're not exactly talking about, seeing him sprint, just a casual walk for him, it raises some serious concerns. And this really isn't criticism. I mean, this is what we can see in mainstream media. And it's also the reason as to why Donald Trump is being seen as the favorite to win it all in November, to be honest with you guys. But here's former Republican Congressman Zach Wamp to talk about it. Take a listen, guys.
Joe Biden, his age keeps coming up. Just the Wall Street Journal a couple of days ago describing him as showing signs of, quote, slipping. However, they also state that the White House said that Biden is sharp, with his critics playing partisan politics. What are you hearing?
Well, like James Carville, who is the noted Democrat strategist here all the way back to Bill Clinton, he said this week that when people think of Joe Biden, they think of his age. And the second thing they think about when they think of Joe Biden is his age. And the third thing is his age. And he said he just can't really escape it. And I think really that's why from this point forward, from the Stormy Daniels trial forward, Donald Trump is going to be the favorite to become president again for the next 4 years. I think more and more people sort of in the middle are accepting this reality because no matter what Joe Biden seems to do, there are things that are bogging him down. His age is the worst probably, but then immigration has been a disaster here in this country. A lot of people are just wanting us to have some kind of controls over illegal immigration in this country. And so Biden really is reeling. A lot of Democrats are saying privately they think it's a tragic mistake if they continue to nominate him, but it looks like there's no turning back.
Well, guys, you heard it, folks. Looks like there may be no turning back. But it looks like a lot of people are actually abandoning the Biden camp. But I don't know. You tell me. Do any of you guys think that the Democrats would actually be able to pull a 180 and suddenly put Vice President Kamala Harris up instead of President Biden? Like, is it too late? And do you guys think if they swapped out Biden for Kamala Harris, that she might actually have a better shot at getting elected versus Biden? Y'all let me know. But experts are now saying that this would pretty much ensure a victory for Donald Trump, because as much as Biden's approval ratings are falling, they're actually better compared to Vice President Kamala Harris's, believe it or not. In fact, Biden's numbers are falling faster ever since Donald Trump's conviction. And there are those who believe that age isn't an issue. It's his memory that's bogging him down, as he said, right? As you know, and you might remember this, he was able to get out of a case for mishandling classified documents because special counsel Robert Hur said that he has dementia. So quick shout out and thank you to AZ Wolfman for the $5 super chat. AZ Wolfman says they need to bring back the 1980s. New York Jets chant for Joe Walton. Joe must go. Joe must go. But for Biden this time. Appreciate the shout out, man. Thank you so much for the super chat this morning. But yeah, so special counsel Robert Hur on the one hand says Biden has dementia, and that's keeping him out of jail. But on the other hand, they're trying to promote that Joe Biden is, his mental acuity is on point and he can lead the country. So it's like, hold on. Well, which is it? You're keeping him out of jail because he's an elderly old man with a poor memory and he's got dementia. But on the other hand, they're claiming that he's sharp as a tack and he can run the country. You can't have both, can we? Keith Morris, thank you so much, my friend, for the huge super chat this morning. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate all of you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. But yeah, so some people are saying like, one pony says, oh my God, no Kamala. But yeah, so this and Biden's policies, they're absolutely destroying our country, according to a number of the comments I'm getting from you guys. A lot of experts are saying that Biden's policies are destroying America. But what's also clear is that the majority of voters, they're looking back at Donald Trump's term like it was the good old days. I mean, is that an accurate assessment? Do you guys think Donald Trump's term was like the good old days when things were better than they are today? Which actually brings me to President Biden's feeble attempt at convincing the American people that he's in control. Now, a lot of folks, especially if you watch that Donald Trump, Dr. Phil interview, Trump was actually saying, I was trying to remember, was it then? Trump was actually saying that Biden is actually being controlled by some evil forces. Now, I don't think he's talking about evil spirits or ghosts. Well, maybe the spirits are evil, but I don't know if you guys even believe in that kind of stuff. But apparently, according to Donald Trump, Biden is being controlled by a greater power. Maybe it's the World Economic Forum, the WEF, some evil forces, some powerful money behind closed doors, the likes of, maybe a George Soros level type people behind him. But anyway, this is what Donald Trump is saying. And it's funny how much Trump has said over the years that people kind of like blew off. And then now you're kind of like seeing it full swing, full circle. And it's like, oh, wait, some of stuff was real. Wild. Anyway, but now Joe Biden's using executive action to solve, air quotes, the problem. Meanwhile, we're seeing illegal immigration, illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, I don't know what you want to call them, on social media, basically telling each other how they can steal homes from U.S. citizens. Are you going to sit down and allow your home to be stolen by illegal immigrants coming into the country? I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but I swear, guys, this is true. And in some instances, it legally actually works. These problems all stemmed from the policies of President Joe Biden. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, he even defended the president's decision and said that it's still at an early stage. But, they're seeing some positive signs at the border. Do any of you guys see any positive signs over there at the border? Y'all let me know. But yeah, it's really unfortunate that a lot of these folks, they're trying to leverage these squatter rights to steal homes from Americans. Unbelievable. And then on top of that, the Americans who own it may still have mortgage payments on these properties. I mean, this house is even legal. Now, I'm pretty sure Donald Trump, being a real estate guy, he probably would get rid of that stupid squatter law that protects them. It's so dumb. It's really dumb if you ask me. Anyway, this kind of reminds me of what Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wants to do. Back in 2022, Schumer, he was quoted in saying that their ultimate goal was to give all these people citizenship, right? Well, that's right. He wanted to provide a way so that the millions of illegal immigrants that have entered our country already could be deemed as real, full-fledged American citizens. Now, back then, he had the number, I think he said the number was close to like 11 million. That number is today, it's a lot higher, with some experts estimating that they probably let in more like 20 million illegal aliens into our country at this point. Now, just off the top of my head, like, this decision would affect multiple agencies here at home. I mean, think about it, guys. You got what? Social Security, you got SNAP benefits, SSI, SSDI, you got housing benefits, Section 8, you got healthcare insurance, the works, right? And you also have to ask, well, will they also be allowed to vote, right? I mean, what are they trying to do with this hyper progressive agenda that's a little bit scary on some of these aspects, right? Yeah. Anyway, so, it's also kind of bound to ask, it's bound to affect, our cost of living, as prices would ultimately be going up. I mean, do you need any more pricing increases? I mean, like, I feel like every time we go out, stuff costs more. We rarely go to restaurants anymore because it's like the cost has gotten so high that, if it's like, okay, if you had a budget for going to the grocery store, or if you had a budget for going out to eat, right, going to restaurants, and the cost of everything doubled, if you're trying to keep within that budget, now you can only go half as often because everything's twice as costly, if that makes sense. So I don't know if you guys are seeing that where you're at, but it's crazy how much more expensive everything is. And then they also raised the percentage of standard tips and stuff like that. And it's wild. A lot of these businesses, they're now putting like these tip lines on like everything you buy. Like, I'm waiting for Walmart to, if you can even find someone who's in Walmart, like a physical cashier, to check you out. I'm waiting for Walmart to add a tip line. Would you tip at Walmart if they had a tip line? Like, let's just say it was like a nice cashier. Would you tip that cashier? And then you also got to wonder if the tips that you leave, do they actually go to the person you're tipping? Because I've been reading and hearing from a lot of people who, work for companies where they can get tips. A lot of some of these places, they take a significant portion of the tip money. My wife, she goes to this like nail place or whatever, and the girl she goes to and has been going to for years, she's like, hey, if you tip me, can you tip me in cash? Because they take 60% of the tips that are left if you write it, write it down on the credit card receipt. So she prefers to get paid in cash or Venmo or Cash App. Anyway, it's getting wild out here, guys. But this is why a lot of analysts and critics of the Biden administration, they're saying that this is a travesty. In fact, this is just completely unacceptable, as we got homeless veterans who are being removed from shelters just so that they can house these illegal individuals here. So I'm gonna just put the question out here for you guys. Like, is this acceptable to you guys? Should veterans who fought for our country be booted out so that illegal immigrants can have a place to stay? I don't know. Y'all tell me. Oh, and is anybody here from Ohio? Anybody know anyone from Ohio? Cousins, relatives, whatnot, friends? So a few weeks ago, Ohio Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown, he showed his cards when he came to this particular issue. To date, Senator Sherrod Brown, he's been on record for voting against any measure designed to prevent illegal immigrants from being granted access to taxpayer-funded benefits. And if you guys can remember, President Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan created, to provide COVID-19 relief funds and whatnot, stimulus checks, PPP, Paycheck Protection Fund money, EIDL, and whatnot. And while stimulus checks absolutely helped out a lot of people back then, it's now being revealed that this plan hid something from us. It was recently reported that more than $500 million was actually set aside for Democratic cities and states. The money was then used to provide relief to undocumented residents. So basically, some of the COVID-19 relief fund money was actually going to illegal immigrants, guys. Did y'all know that? If you knew that, just type in yes. If you did not know that, type in no. Now, all of this talk is now raising the call for term limits. So instead of having an age limit, why not just kind of go down this route? You know what I mean? Like, because it's obvious that the leadership in our country, they're not getting any younger. I mean, a lot of these guys and women in Congress, they're very old. And if they are, they're people like AOC, who literally has no experience in serving the public. A lot of people in New York, they're like, man, AOC, we don't even see her. She's never in the Bronx. AOC's typically in her, fancy Washington, D.C. pad or elsewhere. But, a lot of folks are like, yo, AOC's not helping us out. She doesn't understand the people. Although, if I remember correctly, wasn't AOC like a bartender or something like that? So she did technically serve the public, just not in a position of power. But anyway, this kind of goes to show that almost anybody could be put into office. I mean, heck, maybe I run for office. I don't know. But I'm just kidding. But it's absolutely terrifying because we deserve people who have experience. But at the same time, we do want lawmakers who won't take advantage of their positions and screw people and just try to get rich off of people. I mean, think about how many politicians came in as regular citizens, not wealthy, and then they leave as multimillionaires on, $200,000 a year salary. So it's like, how'd they pull that off, right? Anyway, I'm talking about, of course, Congress and the Senate. Do any of you guys think that the term limits would be good for our government? Or should we just pretty much just kind of keep things as they are, keep it status quo, and just kind of hope that things work out? But now I totally get that we're not all on the same page. I respect that. Some people say that we should have term limits. Some people say we shouldn't. Age limits, no age limits. I totally get it. Either way. It's just a basic question though. But yeah, I just like to keep you guys informed, let you know what's really, really going on for real out here, because they be trying to hide the truth. You know how they do. What's good, Jay Jordan? Thank you again, Ron Yates. Best, I love your channel. You're the best. I love your channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's see. B Heezy 2.0 says term limits. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, man. Melissa Fountain. I would vote for you. I know your values. Plus, you are also a businessman who would run to help the country. Sounds DJT-ish. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's one of the biggest compliments I've gotten all week. So appreciate you, Melissa. Let's see. To be a politician is synonymous with being a gutless, thieving slimeball. Appreciate you, Robin Spielman. And that sucks because these politicians, it's like, dang, like it's like this is the reputation that these politicians have built over the years to a point where no matter who you are, if you're a politician, you automatically get the label of being a gutless, thieving slimeball. And these people are supposed to be almost saviors. You know, every time a politician runs for office, they're promising that they're going to make things better. But it's like if they're nothing more than an untrustworthy, no offense to used car salesmen, but if they're just going to be labeled as untrustworthy, slimy snakes and used car salesmen, or even worse, timeshare salesmen, then that's a pretty scary direction for the country, because these are the guys and girls who are making the laws and running the United States. So I digress. Anyway, guys, appreciate y'all rocking with me. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I got a lot more for you guys later today. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.